What is up, everyone? I am Ryan and I'm coming to you from one of my favorite places in I almost said Cambodia, Canada. It's my mom's porch. Good spot. Great spot. I've been visiting family this summer, so the channel's been a little quiet, but not too long ago I put out a post asking for your questions, and today a bunch of jabronis are getting their questions answered. And hopefully we can Vart out some wisdom for you. Let's get started with the first question. CJ EG1DX asks, on my last trip to Phnom Penh, I had a couple $100 removed from my wallet during a massage via a double-sided locker in the room, and only realized the next day when I looked into my wallet and I saw two very obviously fake $100 bills where the real ones had been. Have you ever been scammed or the victim of a crime in Cambodia? First of all, I'm sorry that happened to you. It sucks to be scammed or robbed. It's not even the money, it's just the relationship you have with the country, the relationship you have with the people might change. It's just, it's bum. It's a bum thing. It's crummy. It's crumb bun thing. So the scam is somewhat common in Cambodia. I've heard of this happen before to people. The best way to avoid it would be not to go to one of those $5 massage places. I know it's a cheap massage, they're all over the place, but I don't know how to tell the ones that are gonna rip you off and the ones that aren't gonna rip you off. But I would go to a spa to get a massage or to one of the seen hand massage places. These are blind people who are trained to be masseuses. So they know what they're doing. It's still pretty cheap. The one thing is they don't do hand jobs at the end. I don't know your life, I don't know what's going on with you, but the cheap CD places do hand jobs. He said do and hand jobs. But they also steal your money. So hand jobs, robbed, blind guys, no hand jobs, stealing. You know, there's a lot of decisions out there in the world we have to make, and sometimes those decisions lead to good things, sometimes they lead to bad things. Sometimes, you know, I don't know, hand jobs and stuff. And your question, I didn't answer your question. Just basically rambled on about hand jobs for a bit and haven't answered a single question yet. Have I been scammed in Cambodia? I've been living in Cambodia for 4 years. I've never been scammed or robbed or anything. I have been ripped off at the market, I'm sure, but that's like, you know, they overcharged me $1 or something. It's not that big of a deal. I have had a fraudulent charge on my credit card. I know it's a common thing here in Cambodia because Sarah also had one. I know about 4 other people that have had one, and everybody goes on about ABA and how great it is, but the security at least is a little meh, I'll tell you that. So I was just sitting around and a notification popped up. Here's a hot tip for you. If you're banking in Cambodia, turn on your notifications on the banking app so you know every time money is spent. A notification pops up. Someone in Germany just spent this much money, I think it was $50. And I immediately reported it. No, this is not me. But they said they had to let the charge go through before they could do anything about it. They blocked the card, they stopped my card from working. I had to get a new card, and I had to wait around until the charge went through. When the charge went through, then I had to try to get a refund. It kind of frustrated me because I literally reported it a minute after it was spent and the money hadn't gone through yet. It was pending. So I was like, just don't let it go through. And they're like, no, we have to let it go through. I don't know. And in the end, I had to bug them a few times, call them up, what's going on with this? Oh yeah, we're still figuring it out. And it took 2 months to get that $50 back into my account. It just kind of magically appeared out of nowhere one day. We threw a little party for it. It was pretty sweet. The Food Panda charge brought a cake, and the Grab charge brought his guitar, played a little song and stuff. And, you know, it was good to have it back in the account. Other scams that I've heard about, most of them involve tuk-tuk drivers. Either they're just overcharging you, or they're lying to you and saying that something's closed, but we can take you on a tuk-tuk tour instead. One time I heard about a guy, this is just like on a Facebook group, a guy gets in a tuk-tuk, and the tuk-tuk driver's like, oh, I don't really understand where I'm going. Can you like show me on your phone? So they type it in their phone, give their phone to the driver. The driver's looking at it, and then the passenger just sees his phone just fly out, land on the sidewalk. And he goes, what are you doing? What are you doing? He gets up and jumps out of the tuk-tuk to get his phone. The driver takes off, and the passenger picks up his phone only to find out that it's a piece of wood painted to look like an iPhone. So that's some high-level scammage, and it sucks. I mean, he lost an iPhone, which is way more than $200. So CJ EG1DX, you know, could have been worse. And the iPhone guy didn't even get a hand job at the end, so. Best way to avoid any tuk-tuk scams is to use Grab or Pass apps and ride-hailing apps. Easy. All right, moving on. Brecken06 asks, how do you stay healthy with so much delicious Asian food that is largely fried and lots of cheap beer? How do I stay healthy? Well, first of all, how do you know I'm staying healthy? What, do you have access to my medical records? What's going on here, bud? He continues and he says, I have loved SEA 1.5 years and I'm just getting fatter. You were fat and you're just getting fatter. Hot and humid days mean I'm exercising less and I can't resist a chilled 0.5 cent beer. I understand that. When beer is cheaper than water, it's a pretty easy decision. It is pretty common for somebody to move to Cambodia and they go wild on the cheap beers and the alcohol. And yeah, I mean, it's hot, it goes down smooth. I get it. I guess the best thing to do would be to have a little bit of willpower. There's a lot of fried food in Cambodia. Most of it is street food. You don't really need to eat that stuff. It's pretty easy to avoid it. The very first time I moved overseas, I left Canada and moved to Slovakia, and I was only there for a year. I came back and all my friends were like, oh my God, you look like Christian Bale from The Machinist. I had lost so much weight and I didn't really do anything. I wasn't dieting or anything. The only reason that I could come up with was because I stopped eating all that processed food, all of frozen food. There's so much of that in North America, and there's not that much of that in Europe. For example, a jar of spaghetti sauce. Get to Slovakia and I'm looking for a jar of spaghetti sauce, pre-made spaghetti sauce. They don't have it. How are you supposed to make spaghetti? I don't understand this. Oh, turns out you can make spaghetti sauce from scratch. That's a thing that I didn't even realize was possible, I guess. And you know, the jarred stuff, it's got more sugar, it's got more preservative, it's got a bunch of crap that you don't really need. And yeah, that's my guess. Stuff like that. I was eating more fresh food, more real food, making my own stuff more and not just relying on all that pre-made stuff that's packed with a bunch of crap you don't want. It's the same in Southeast Asia. They don't have jarred spaghetti sauce like they do here. They have it, it's out there, but if you're making spaghetti, you're probably going to make the sauce from scratch. So I find it way easier to eat healthy in Southeast Asia. I'm also not a picky eater. I think a lot of people come to Asia and they're like, I'm not going to eat that, I'm not going to eat that. They don't want to try, I don't know, organ meat, pig's ears, chicken feet. Because I lived in Vietnam, I lived in China, Ecuador, and now Cambodia, I've tried so much food from all over the world and I've gotten used to it. I like it all. I'm not a big fan of pig's ear. I wouldn't go out and buy pig ear and make it, but I'll eat pretty much anything. And there's a lot of good healthy options in Cambodia. The soups, I would recommend eating the soups if you want to eat healthy. They're usually full of greens like water spinach and lemongrass and herbs like that that are good for you. What is it? Lemongrass beef soup. I showed that in a video recently. That's a really healthy dish. Lots of healthy options in Cambodia. You just have to have the palate for it, I guess. As for the impossibly hot conditions that aren't ideal for exercise, that is a big problem. I run a couple times a week in the gym, on a treadmill, no AC, run for like 30 minutes, and then I sit in front of a fan for 30 minutes to cool down, just dripping sweat. I also play paddle once a week, racket sport, kind of like pickleball, play for an hour, then I sit in front of a fan for 30 minutes, just dripping sweat. And then I swim a couple times a week in the pool that our building has. It's nice because you don't sweat like crazy and you don't need to sit in front of a fan for 30 minutes. Those things, I guess I would recommend swimming is a good one to avoid the dripping sweat. It's kind of bad for you because you lose so much water and you gotta rehydrate. You gotta drink so much water to get it back to the levels. I recommend Pocari Sweat. You can get that in Cambodia really easily. But that being said, there have been many days that were really hot. I'm supposed to run and I make up an excuse and don't do it because it's just, I can't even bear the idea of running. When you're sitting there and you're working on your computer and you're sweating just from that, can you imagine going and running on a treadmill? Okay, next question. Kurt Migbor 7165. Could you explain cell phone options and how to set it up? How do you deal with it? Yeah, I understand this, but I found it to be a bit of a pain in the ass when I first got here. Setting up my cell phone, I'd add money to it, it would run out, I would be out, and I wouldn't be able to add more money because I wouldn't have the internet anymore. It was a pain, but then I got a bank account, made everything easier. My SIM card is from a company called Smart, and I downloaded their app, And on the Smart app, I signed up for a $1 a week plan. I think it's 8 gigabytes, 60 call minutes, and 60 texts that I can do in the week for $1. Super cheap. And I basically sign up for that. They need it to be topped up once a week, so you can try to add money every whatever day. Or if you have the ABA app, or probably most banking apps in Cambodia, you can set up a scheduled payment, throw $1 on that once a week, Friday at 7 a.m. or whatever. And then when I travel, like I'm doing right now, I'll just put a pause on the auto payment there. So yeah, $1 a week, so cheap and easy. Haven't had a problem since then. Next up. Next question, Miss M Explores. She asks, she has a few questions. Have you seen a rise in expats over the last few years? Since I've first came to Cambodia, definitely because it was like COVID times, so a lot of those people have come back in the past 4 years. I would also say that I've seen more Africans in the past like year, and probably more younger expats, like English teachers and people working from their computer. Like since COVID, I guess a lot of people have started working from home, digital nomads, all that stuff. So I think there's a lot more of those younger people coming to places like Cambodia and working. Pros and cons. Well, when I first moved overseas, I was very like, I'm moving overseas because I want to learn about the culture and I'm gonna only eat Vietnamese food. I was kind of hardcore about it, but 2 years there, 3 years in China, 2 years in Ecuador, now 4 years in Cambodia. I'm kind of over all that, and I appreciate the expat life a lot more. And it's easy to go back into, like, I can find an all Cambodian area of town and go hang out and drink a coffee in the coffee shops and do Cambodian things. That's easy, but it's also great to have that expat life, and there's a good expat community in Cambodia for the most part. I mean, I guess the cons would be that there are a lot of like unsavory characters that end up in Cambodia because it's a bit more Wild West. They think you can get away with more. It's easier to get drugs, and the prostitutes are cheaper, and you can get these hand jobs at these places, massage you for real cheap, and if you're careful about it, you're not going to get robbed. I think Cambodia attracts a lot of those people, so some of the expats bad. Most of the expats are good though, I would say. Not really any cons to having more expats because there's, they open restaurants, they do a lot of stuff. Like I can go on Facebook and find a guy making Hungarian sausage. To have that, why was that a negative thing? It's not. She also asked, do you think Cambodia will become like Thailand? I think it's a bit like Thailand already, but it's like a turned down version of it. I know quite a few people that have come from Thailand, moved to Cambodia, retired people who said it's easier to get a visa in Cambodia now. A lot of people go to Thailand over Cambodia because it's got better hospitals, it's just more infrastructure, more developed. And that's going to change. Cambodia is developing quickly, so when Cambodia has some better hospitals, becomes a bit more developed, which it's almost there, to be honest with you, then I think we're going to see more people coming to retire in Cambodia. Miss M Explores also asked, how do you feel about other YouTube content about Cambodia and maybe the impressions of the country they project? It's a good question. Honestly, I don't really watch much of it. I think I get enough YouTube Cambodia just producing these videos every week, so I don't really spend my time. I'd be like a doctor coming home from the hospital and watching Grey's Anatomy or something. But I do see a lot of titles, I see a lot of thumbnails. Sometimes I do research to see what other types of videos people are making about Cambodia. And I would say that the cheap cost of living obsession kind of bothers me. It's just so much of it. It just paints Cambodia as this good place to go because it's cheap. And obviously Cambodia has way more than just being a cheap place to live. The way I see it is it allows me to do this YouTube channel, so it's not about saving money left and right and getting this for so cheap. It's about giving me the flexibility to be able to do something like this, because if I tried to make a YouTube channel in Cambodia or in Canada and work on it for 5 years without working any other job, trust me, I would be broke by now. So yeah, it's good that it's cheap, but I think people lean into that way too much and just like obsess over every little penny. And her last question is, can you make a video with the PP Easyriders? That sounds kind of funny. PP Easyriders, get your PP out, we're going easy riding. The Phnom Penh Easyriders is a group. They ride bicycles, they meet up once a week, I think it's on a Saturday, and they ride the bicycles all around. I think they leave the city probably most times and go ride around the countryside and come back in. It's like a group for bicyclists. And no, I can't make a video with them because they all wear stupid bicycle outfits that are super dorky, and I can't be around that for that long. So much spandex, no. But if you are interested in riding bicycles around Phnom Penh, a city that's not good for bicycle riding, but like I said, I think they leave the city. If you're into that community, then check them out on probably Facebook, Phnom Penh Easyriders. Yeah, get your fill of spandex with them. Son of a bitch! Just realized that the microphone wasn't recording. Yeah, I'm good at my job. I'm sure you can hear me, it's just the audio is probably shit. Got one more question, and it's from Chill Out Lars. Chill Out Lars? My voice changed recently from a very annoying squeaky tone to a deeper mellow sound. Perhaps we can look at this. Cheers. My advice to you is to chill out, Lars. That's gonna happen when you go through puberty. You're also probably gonna notice some hairs that are in places that they weren't before. It's all normal, and I think the best thing to do would be to head to one of those $5 massage places, and they're gonna take care of you. So I think we're done here. I think that's enough. If anybody has any questions that they want to ask for a future video, ask them below in the comments. Thank you to the people who did ask questions. Thank you guys for watching. And from the vast cornfields of Canada, take care, comb your hair. I'm out.
Don't get blinded by the media. I'd rather be myself. Take flight, got a speedy on speed dial. And meanwhile, my dream right beside me with a smile. She like Destiny Child.